with the future Hall of Fame quarterback. And now they are tasked with forgetting about the no call, the what could have been nightmare, and to climb the mountain again. Saints won the toss. They defer. Texans will receive. DeAndre Carter back as Will Lutz will be kicking away. NFL 100 and Monday Night Football's 50th season. And a great way to start it here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Texans and Saints. As toe meets leather, and we are underway for what should be an entertaining doubleheader Monday Night Football. So there is Deshaun Watson. We had a great visit with Deshaun, and he visited the turf a little too much last year. Was contacted 165 times, sacked 62. But it says, you know, this year my focus is all about the team and my leadership, because last year was about recovering and getting back from the knee injury. Now he feels confident with the knee. He can be a more involved quarterback.
I feel confident too with Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. He should feel very protected tonight with the big fella.
I'll start with Carlos Hyde, who gets off a good run for 9 yards. He just arrived to the Texans last weekend. Was traded from Kansas City for a backup lineman.
You know, it's going to be important for the Texans tonight. This crowd is loud. It's going to be on fire. Deshaun Watson, I look for him to use the silent count. Probably using the right foot or the left foot, picking it up, alerting the offensive line when it's time to snap the ball.
Have a first down as Hyde takes it ahead. Remember, Lamar Miller, starting running back, is out for the season with a torn ACL that he suffered in preseason week 3. And this is the new look line with the big addition of Laramie Tunsil that'll block for this group.
Well, I think it's the key to their team. We all know what happened last year. He was the most hit quarterback in the National Football League. If this line can protect, this young quarterback will do dynamic things on the field.
Empty look here on first down for Watson. 24th game of his NFL career. The flag is down.
Full start. Offense. Number 87. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, it's always fun with Deshaun Watson. He's a young quarterback, but he calls his own protections. So he's telling the offensive line where to go. And I like that, because if you're going to get hit, I want you to be responsible for it. He's the guy that makes sure he doesn't get hit with a blitzer.
First and 15 for Watson. Coming off that 21-7 playoff loss to the Colts that ended last season. Duke Johnson in the backfield with him as he goes low to the feet of Johnson. Johnson himself traded over to the Texans from Cleveland. Saints up front are a little thinned out in the middle of the defensive line, but Cam Jordan and second-year player Marcus Davenport hope to make up for it. You love what Demario Davis is.
To me, he's the bell cow of this defense. Cam Jordan's the best player. They need Marcus Davenport to step up. But Demario Davis is the guy who sets the tone for this defense. You see Watson calling protections out. Him in the center are communicating right now.
Second and 15. They only bring 4 as it's driven to Nuke Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins, who was first team All-Pro a year ago with 115 catches. That for 10 yards.
Like DeAndre Hopkins, they're playing a little match coverage outside in with 43 and 23 Lattimore and Williams.
Whoa.
I think that ball hit the ground there. Look for the Saints to throw the red challenge flag here.
As Watson and the Texans are getting up there quickly, and yet here it is. John Perry,
New Orleans is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
NFL officiating analyst. John, this is going to be an easy one to read, isn't it?
You know, we got a great view from that sky cam. Incomplete pass.
Quick break while they take a peek. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. That was was one of the most memorable moments. Steve Gleason, the block punt in September of 2006, the night the rebuilt Superdome hosted an NFL game for the first time after Hurricane Katrina. And there is Steve now. He's such a hero here in his work with ALS awareness, fundraising, and such a symbol, heroic pride here in this city. It was indeed incomplete. It was clear to see with the replay review. So it's a 3rd and 15. You know, DeAndre Hopkins only had 3 drops all of last year, and that's how we start the season here.
I know it. Talk about it. This is a huge down in this game for the Houston Texans. Can their offensive line protect? The New Orleans Saints have their NASCAR package on the field. They have 3 defensive ends: Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport, and Trey Henderson. Can they protect right now?
So a little bit of a reveal of what could be to come. Let's see how they handle it here on 3rd and 15. As Jordan chasing him down and getting to Deshaun Watson. Cam Jordan, who had 12 sacks a year ago, gets his first of this season.
You watch Cam Jordan. It's a little bit of a game. He goes underneath the defensive tackle. Call it a TE game. The tackle goes first, the end goes second, and just relentless effort from Cam Jordan. That's why he's one of the better defensive ends in the National Football League.
And there's the undrafted, undersized dynamo return man, the 5'6" Deontay Harris, a rookie from Assumption College in Worcester, Mass. Out to field the Trevor Daniel punt. There's Harris from the 19. As he cuts, and a flag is down as he makes his way 13 yards out past the 30-yard line. They think the world of Harris here in New Orleans. A few weeks ago had a 78-yard punt return touchdown preseason game against the Jets.
You know, Sean was telling us this guy's electric, man.
During the return, legal block in the back, number 24, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
And Sean Payton went so far as to say that Deontay Harris, he thinks, could end up being the best return man in the entire NFL when it's all said and done.
He's got juice, man.
And now year number 19 for the 40-year-old Drew Brees, who he's got this great phrase he puts out there, Boog. He says, I'm trying to prolong my prime. That's a nice way to put it, isn't it?
I think we're all trying to do that.
The all-time leader in passing yards. He turned 40 this past January. Gets it to Alvin Kamara. First play of their season as Kamara turns it on to the outside.
You know, everyone's talking about who their pick for the MVP is. That's mine right there, Alvin Kamara, a guy that can do it all. They're going to miss Mark Ingram from the physical standpoint of the running inside. But this guy, with his ability to catch the football out of the backfield, that was a simple swing pass with 2 receivers blocking, designed for Kamara to get the football.
Boy, Mark Ingram had a big day. His new team, Baltimore, in that rout of the Dolphins yesterday. 2nd and 1 now. There's Brees, play caller's dream, 2nd and 1. He gets it complete to who else but can't guard Michael Thomas. All he did is have 125 catches a year ago, 24 yards there.
I just love what Michael Thomas is doing. It's man-to-man coverage. If you're going to show Drew Brees and Michael Thomas man-to-man coverage, they are going to shred you. Just can't do it. If you're Romeo Crennel, the defensive coordinator, you're going to have to mix your looks up. Man-to-man coverage, and now they bring the Wildcat in, Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, who's the Swiss Army knife of the NFL in the game, number 7. Brees, he's got time, and now Merciless trying to chase him down before Brees eventually dumps it off that time to Latavius Murray. Saints offense up front. Got the experienced line with the exception of center. The rookie Eric McCoy gets the start. Max Unger retired this spring. And then when it comes to the skill positions, well, when you got Kamara and Thomas, it solves a lot of headaches. But then they get the addition of Jared Cook, the tight end from Oakland.
And I think he'll be a mismatch in the red zone. Drew Brees loves to throw the football to the tight end. But the offensive line is a top 5 offensive line in the NFL.
Offset eye with Latavius Murray on 2nd and 7. Zach Line, very capable fullback, shifts over. Gets it out to Murray again, and Murray is taken down that time by Bernardrick McKinney.
You know, I love what the Saints do. They give you so many different formations. There was a one-man screen. Number 71, Ryan Ramczyk out there. It's just a one-man screen. Put their player in space and see if he can make a guy miss with a blocker in front. I love it.
See if they can keep this opening drive alive here on a 3rd and 6. Last year they had 7 opening drive touchdowns. That was 2nd best in the league. Kansas City was number 1. 3rd and 6 for Breeze. And that is going to be short of the line to make as he gets it to Ted Ginn for 4 yards. He was covered and tackled by Jonathan Joseph.
And that's a win for this Texans defense. This building is on fire. Everyone is coming in. This offense wants to come out and get revenge. And the Texans defense comes in and they settle this crowd down a little bit. That's a win for Romeo Crennel and the defense.
Thomas Morstead, his 11th year, led the NFL in net average last year, was 43.2 per punt. Going to try to pin the Texans here. And he does so with an inside the 10 punt as DeAndre Carter calls for the fair catch. DeAndre Hopkins and Watson back out there looking to get to business when we return. 9 days ago, Laramie Tunsil was taking a nap. His brother ran into the bedroom, woken up and said, "You just got traded to Houston." He said, "You're crazy. What are you talking about?" His agent Jimmy Sexton called. Here he is 5 days on the job, starting left tackle now. As Duke Johnson goes straight up the middle for 10.5 yards, running over Marcus Williams for a first down.
I like what the Texans are doing right now. Come in. Let's not play a fast-paced offense. We know that we are a little bit overmatched in this dome. Let's run the football, slow this game down. We don't want to turn this game into a wide-open passing game. Make sure that the game is slowed down, run the football. They're doing a good job so far.
Harmlessly falls to the ground after going off the hands of Jordan Akins, 2nd-year tight end. For Bill O'Brien, it is year number 6. He's led the Texans to 3 division titles in the last 4 years. There was so much criticism about the trades on the 31st. People pointing fingers. They don't have a GM right now. It's a committee doing it. O'Brien said to us yesterday, he goes, "I'm not the king. These are well-researched. We have a group that's making these decisions."
He may not be the king, but he has the final say-so.
2nd and 10. Watson unable to escape. Demario Davis was the first to get after him, and then came the traffic jam.
I love what the New Orleans Saints are doing. They're going to pinch inside, and bring Demario Davis on the outside, and the tackle cannot pass it off. Using one of the faster linebackers in the National Football League, coming around the corner. The same problem that the Texans had last year. So far in 2019, it's rearing its ugly head. Deshaun Watson on the ground, and it is loud in the dome on 3rd down.
Just listen to this. 3rd and 14. Watson just going to check down underneath to Duke Johnson, so that sack backs him up. 2 sacks now for the Saints, and Demario Davis quick to get on it again. He is outstanding, had 110 tackles, 5 sacks a year ago when he was the team's defensive MVP.
I know it doesn't look like it, but I was impressed by that 3rd down play from Deshaun Watson. Last year, he would hold the football and not check it down. 3rd and long, there's nothing open deep. Just check it down, punt the football, and live to play another day.
So Daniel on to punt for a 2nd time. And college football's all-time record holder, 14 return touchdowns for this guy, Deontay Harris. On the go, out to midfield. He is quick. What a burst. Only a 3.25 hang time, so a quick return from Deontay Harris. And that sets up Drew Brees in very good shape. 18 straight season opening starts now for Mr. Brees. It's a three-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year who told us, he said, hey, I can change direction quickly now. That's bad news for opposing linemen and quarterbacks. Said a year ago, still recovering from the broken leg, was struggling to fully plant and get off. Feels great this year. And consider, even with that last year, had the big season. Kamara gets ahead.
You know, I know J.J. Watt feels good, but he doesn't have his running mate, number 90, Jadeveon Clowney. He can line up in multiple places, at defensive end, at linebacker, at stand-up linebacker on the defensive left. He is a disruptor. Watch him go inside here against one of the better guards in football, Q Nelson, and just sack Andrew Luck. They're going to miss Jadeveon Clowney's disruption, whether it be in the run or the pass.
2nd and 3 after Kamara went for 7. Brees downfield, overthrew the intended target. He was looking for the newly acquired Jared Cook.
You know, Clowney being gone has a couple of different effects. Number one, you don't have a playmaker. But two, J.J. Watt's now going to get a lot of attention. He said, I'm used to being double and triple team. I got news for you, big fella. You're going to get a lot more of those now that number 90 is in Seattle. Oh, by the way, he had a sack fumble yesterday in Seattle.
Yeah. Closer game than many expected against the Bengals. A little bit of controversy at the end with review as to how it ended. 3rd down and 3. Latavius Murray flanking Brees as Kamara's in the slot on 3rd and 3. They only bring 3, and with that, it's complete to Michael Thomas, who darts inside the 30 for a Saints first down. 14-yard reception from Mike.
You know, in 2018, the Texans were primarily a man-to-man team. They're trying to play a little zone right now, and the guys are being kind of wide open on the outside there. Little zone. Drew Brees is a master. He's so accurate with the football. You kind of have to mix it up, and right now he has the Texans number, especially on this drive.
Love that social media handle. Can't guard Mike. He's got the gear as
That's
well.
true.
It is true. You can't guard Mike.
It's hard to guard on Mike, man.
As they go with some jet motion here with Kamara, who's upended, and the ball comes loose at the end. Whistle is saying he's down by contact, as it was Bradley Roby who undercut him.
2nd down.
Well, they're going to get Kamara the football in a lot of different ways. There on a little jet sweep. Zach Cunningham there getting physical. Roby coming up underneath. I'm impressed by this Texans defense so far. Big stop early. Now being physical with Kamara. That's what you have to do when you're on the road in a hostile environment. I like what I'm seeing so far.
And Kamara launched into the air after Roby went under him.
The Saints are coming out throwing the ball a lot. I might establish the run if I were them.
2nd and 9, Brees, and there is Thomas with those suction cup hands of his as Roby had coverage there.
You know, one of the unique things about Michael Thomas, he doesn't run a lot of deep routes. A lot of his catches are underneath, 5, 10, 15 yards, a lot of crossing routes. He's a big, physical wide receiver. May not be a speed burner, but he's still one of the top 5 wide receivers in the National Football League.
But he had what you saw right there where the coverage is right on him. He had 16 catches on what they term tight window, according to Next Gen stats.
Yes.
That was last year. It was 3rd most in the NFL. 3rd down and 4. Brees to the outside, and that will go for a first down into the hands of Jared Cook for 6 yards. So Jared Cook was the big free agent acquisition from the Raiders. Had a huge season with Oakland at 68 catches, nearly 900 yards, and 6 touchdowns in Gruden's first-year offense.
Yeah, it's just a nice little route by him. He goes up at the top, he stems it, and gets outside. The closer you get to the end zone, the more Drew Brees is going to look for Jared Cook. No quarterback over the last decade has targeted tight ends more than Drew Brees.
Taysom Hill in motion. As they will keep it on the ground, and spinning down to the 11-yard line is Latavius Murray.
I want us to watch Taysom Hill as he comes across the formation. Number 7, That's the backup quarterback, the H-back, getting a nice block there on the defensive end.
Well, he's anything you want. He's a backup quarterback, special team, blocking punts, playing tight end.
How many backup quarterbacks can dig the defensive end out like that?
He is a supreme athlete, Taysom Hill. 2nd and 5. Murray remains in. Breeze pumps. Watts chasing Breeze. And it is intercepted by Merciless. Boy, oh boy, Breeze trying to extend the play and make something of it. And Whitney Merciless with the interception.
That's just excellent awareness by Whitney Merciless. Understanding that when Drew Brees scrambles, he's not scrambling to run. He's looking to throw the football and makes a really huge play for the Houston Texans down in the red zone.
How about that play just when they needed it? Breeze had him rolling. And then Merciless showed no mercy. Breeze picked off. For Drew Brees, that was only his 2nd red zone interception since the start of 2017. He has been so good in the red zone, but right there, Merciless gets him at the 6-yard line. And now Watson from his end zone, and he wants it all. And what an effort by Will Fuller! Up and over Eli Apple. Wow!
When we talked to the Texans, they knew they were going to get man-to-man coverage. Eli Apple on Will Fuller. Deep threat, and he just goes up and gets the ball. Way to contest, way to go up and battle for the ball, Will Fuller.
They go from the 6-yard line to out of trouble with that 54-yarder and that incredibly athletic play from Fuller. That was incredible. Will Fuller.
You know, for a guy that's coming off an ACL to come out and go up and make that contest, might have been a little pass interference also, but my goodness, to reach around the guy, to use his hands. But talking to the Texans, they want to attack 2 guys tonight. Number 25, Eli Apple, and number 26, P.J. Williams. So it's no surprise they go after Apple early.
Eli Apple's entire body shielding him. He had to go up around, get around the shoulder pad. 54-yard toss that time as a flag is down here on the carry with Hyde. Cameron Jordan with the tackle.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, normally, if you're going to hold a guy like Chantrell Henderson just held Cam Jordan, he doesn't make the play. Cam Jordan made the play also. If you're going to hold him, big fella, go ahead and hold him. Don't allow him to make the play also there. Cam Jordan, one of the better defensive ends. I love how he uses his athleticism and how he plays inside and outside, turns his body, bends, creates angles.
Coming off his 4th trip to the Pro Bowl. One of the most entertaining personalities in the entire NFL as well. Saints were driving, pick off, and all of a sudden 54 yards the other way. Play clock is counting down. 2nd and 13. Tries to get it out quickly, and he does to Nuke. And Hopkins darts ahead to the 30-yard line. 13 yards there.
Just a little screen there. 78, Laremy Tunsil with a nice block there. You can do this play when you have an athletic tackle like Laremy Tunsil. May not be paying off early because he's given up a couple sacks, or at least the offensive line has. But there's a play where number 78, Laremy Tunsil, is paying dividends.
Johnson is met at the line of scrimmage. Trey Hendrickson and Jordan getting involved.
You know, Duke Johnson is a guy that they got. You know, Lamar Miller, no longer here, no longer healthy with the ACL. But Duke Johnson can be a 3-down back. They don't want to give him a ton of touches or a ton of carries, but the occasional zone run, the screen play, I think he can be an effective player for the Texans.
And that is the end of the 1st quarter. Loud as could be here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Davis had the pick of Breeze, and Watson's on the go. That's a spotted cat on Frenchman Street. The Tin Men performing the Monday night theme. Whitney Merciless the interception, and now Deshaun Watson facing a 2nd and 9. As he pulls it and gets it to Hopkins, but it goes incomplete as Hopkins thought he had a good shot at it. Coverage came from Lattimore.
Yeah, we usually don't see the ball hit the ground too many times when you throw it to DeAndre Hopkins. That's a couple of times tonight where the ball has hit both of his hands. Normally, when you see that, Nuke will catch the ball, but that's twice tonight. That's very uncanny from one of the better wide receivers.
Also aren't a lot of guys that can even put themselves in position to get their hands on that ball. Also
something to note, Marshawn Lattimore is following DeAndre Hopkins tonight. It's going to be quite the battle.
3rd down and 9. Quickly out and able this time to secure it is Hopkins. Let's check this mark. Line to make was that 20-yard line. Looks like it's going to be maybe half a yard short there.
We're going to see this battle all night. Marshawn Lattimore against DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to follow him in man-to-man coverage. Just a good physical battle. Lattimore didn't have quite the year or the start to 2018 that he wanted. Finished 2018 strong, and now we have 2019. And the Texans are going for it on 4th down. I completely agree with this move. On the road, hostile environment, you're playing well.
So they're going to use a timeout. Bill O'Brien's going to talk it over here.
Let's take a look at the matchup so far between Marshawn Lattimore and DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to see it all night long. He's going to follow him. It's going to be a physical battle, contested catches, zone coverage, right side, left side. There's the drop. We usually don't see that. Now look at him. He's up in his face. Little fisticuff. I see you. Come on, don't push me. You can't push me. I'll push you back. Oh, competitors. That's what we love. 2 of the better players in the National Football League competing at a high level. I miss that feeling, Tess.
That's a pretty good feeling up here, though.
It's a great feeling.
Remember, he was the Defensive Rookie of the Year a couple years ago, and then defensive coordinator Dennis Allen had a conversation with us this weekend. He said, hey, listen, I'll be honest with you. I think the start of last year, Lattimore came in, was reading the press clippings and was a little ahead of himself and kind of had to earn it on the backside. So I want to bring in John Perry, our officiating analyst, and discuss the spot of the ball here, John.
Yeah, this is really close, so it's going to be interesting to see whether this is just short or is the ball on the 20-yard line with a 1st down.
We will find out when we come back after this break. Remember, the ruling on the field was that the spot was short of the line to gain. John, what do you see?
They're doing some administration stuff down there, so be curious to see if they make a change. But to me, it looked like a great spot based on the knee being down and where the ball was.
Now, we have the advantage on this 50th season of Monday Night Football to have marker cam, line to make cam, and the pylon cam right there. And that's the view it gave us. Enough to work with, Perry?
I think we're going to be short. 4th down.
John Hussey heads up this crew, tonight's referee. You said one of the most difficult assignments that a referee has had generationally, to come back here to the Superdome.
Tough sledding here normally, and to come back 8 months after, tough assignment, but John's a great referee, great leader.
You had him on one of your crews years ago?
I did. My first year as a referee, John Hussey was my line judge.
Well, they are taking their time, and the crowd obviously is not pleased with that.
Well, understandably so, based on what happened the last time we were here back in January. But regardless of how short this is, field goals will not beat New Orleans. You have to figure that at some point Drew Brees and his offense are going to start clicking. If I'm head coach Bill O'Brien, I'm going for this.
After review, the ruling on the field of the progress spot stands. Houston had called a timeout. Subsequently, they challenged thereafter. As a result of the challenge being lost, they will be charged a 2nd timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining.
Great job by the crew there. You know, it's a tough timeout, but I'm sure coach wanted to get more time to take a look. But by rule, he is charged both team timeouts.
Normally in these fourth down situations, you want to put the ball in your best player's hand, and that's number 4, Deshaun Watson.
So here we go, 4th and inches. And he pulls, and Watson is going to have more than just a first down, leaping towards the goal line. Touchdown, Houston. 21-yard rushing touchdown, Deshaun Watson, as Jordan Akins paved the way with that block.
Let's pay attention to number 88 right here. Understand this. He's reading the defensive end. When the defensive end goes down, Deshaun Watson goes on the outside. He's got a lead block. Number 88, Jordan Akins. They call it a bluff. The tight end comes around, he bluffs the defensive end, and he turns into a lead block for the quarterback. Love that play call, and they put it in their best player's hands, Deshaun Watson.
So watch the impact he takes on his lower back here as he goes into the end zone. Incredible athleticism from Watson. He was slow to get up as his teammates surrounded him, but what a play. Now the young superstar quarterback. Look at that, going right over the pylon.
Just a phenomenal athlete and a really good call by Bill O'Brien. On the road, it's 4th and short. Fake it inside. Give your quarterback a lead block coming around the outside, and the Houston Texans have silenced this crowd.
Exactly what they worried about when you talk to this Saints defense. As Fairbairn adds the extra point and a 94-yard drive. Remember how it started with Whitney Merciless, the interception, the rare red zone interception of Drew Brees. And Watson has made his way to the medical tent after coming down very hard there. Now he is out. So Lisa, of course, will give us an update. There he is going in. So we're going to take another look at him there as Lisa, of course, will have an update there. They said we worry so much about him getting to the outside against us.
Well, because he can hurt you on the outside of the pocket, whether it's throwing the football, he's even more accurate outside the pocket, or running the football. He reminds me of Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. He has that type of accuracy and athleticism outside the pocket. There on 4th down, run a little bluff, inside, fake the zone inside. He comes outside with a lead blocker. Really good play call. Love the aggressiveness by Bill O'Brien.
Backup quarterback is A.J. McCarron in his 5th year of Alabama. Was originally with the Bengals. Traveled around and now landed here in Houston. Fairbairn will kick away. And here is Harris again, just inside the end zone. He is met and then muscles his way at least out to the 20-yard line.
I think it's important now for Drew Brees. He talked to us about momentum, Tess. Momentum. How do you get it? How do you, when you give it away, how do you take it back?
Says it's the thing he values most in terms of the ebb and flow of a game and how you go about winning.
So now he's got to get momentum back. He throws an interception in the red zone. The Texans take it down. Now, how does Drew Brees get momentum back? He said, Boog, you do it one play at a time. Let's see how he does it now.
It was his first red zone interception in his last 105 pass attempts. And tried to quickly get it out to Thomas. And big play for Merciless to get that momentum sway. Down for Brees. There's Kamara. As he goes for 6 yards there.
Just a simple play. Drew Brees drops back. He starts with Alvin Kamara on the outside. He motions him back inside once he realizes it's zone coverage. Just comes out, runs a simple choice route. That's easy pickings there for Drew Brees. See if J.J. Watt can get some pressure here on 3rd down.
3rd down and 4. Breeze with time goes downfield, and he's able to connect with Jared Cook. Great addition to this Saints offense is Cook. 31-yard reception.
Man-to-man coverage, bread and butter of the Houston Texans. And Gibson, who's a physical safety, just loses Jared Cook. He's a mismatch. Bigger than you think. 6'5", 250 pounds. And Gibson's going to have his hands full all night.
Remember last year, the Monday Night Football opener against the Rams. Cook had that big game, had 9 catches for 180 yards. He started that sensational season he had with the Raiders. And he's got 2 catches tonight on 3rd down for Breeze. Breeze to the other side this time, and Thomas gathers it for a 1st down. So a nice response drive now from Breeze and the Saints. 15 yards there.
Drew Brees just drops back, fakes a little flash and pass. Nice clean pocket. And if you're going to guard Michael Thomas man-to-man, you need to get up on him and play a little physical. You can't guard him from 7 to 8, 9 yards off. You got to be a little closer to him there. Texans need to make that adjustment.
Romero trying to find something up the middle as he goes ahead for 5 yards. Incredible start to the career for Michael Thomas, year number 4, but those first 3 seasons, I mean, last year 125 catches, that led the NFL. It's the 5th most in a single season in NFL history, but 321 in his first 3 seasons. That is the record. And with that record comes the rewards. $96 million 5-year contract. Here's Taysom Hill now lining up at quarterback.
Look for the zone read here.
As Hill will get to Kamara, and Kamara trying to break that first attempted tackle of Zach Cunningham, who held on.
You know, Taysom Hill plays a lot of positions, but you can kind of figure out what he's going to do based on the position. When he's at tight end, he's either going to be a blocker or run out in the route. When he's at quarterback, zone read is the #1 play they do. Just now, a little zone read from Taysom Hill. He's going to pull it at some point. Give it to Kamara. He's going to pull it and go around the end. I like the package. Let's not forget, Sean Payton found Taysom Hill, and he feels good about the guy that he found, and he wants to use him a lot.
And he's throwing out that Steve Young comparison lately. Big expectations ahead for what could be the career of Taysom Hill. 3rd and 3 now. Breeze looking for Kamara, and it'll be a Saints 1st down.
It's too easy. Alvin Kamara starts on the outside as a wideout. He motions back in. Based on who goes with him, whether it's a linebacker or a corner, Drew Brees knows that it's zone coverage. Kamara just goes to the flat. I mean, nobody's within 5 yards of it. That is just too easy for one of the most accurate quarterbacks and a dynamic weapon in Alvin Kamara.
And he's a 1st down machine.
Yes.
He's picked up a 1st down on 32% of his career touches. That is the best in the NFL over any 2-year span.
They got the fullback in the game. When he's in the game, they want to get to more of their power game. Let's take a look at it.
That's offset, big zap line, and they run behind him with Kamara, but a good run fit that time by McKinney and Cole.
Sean Payton does a great job. I mean, we've been shotgun. We've had fullbacks. We've had Taysom Hill. They have so many personnel groupings. They force the defense to match up. And right now, the Texans are doing a pretty good job, other than a couple big plays. I like what they're doing. Need to make a big stop here in the red zone.
2nd and 9. 9th play of this drive. By the way, Deshaun Watson still in the medical tent. Lisa is going to give us an update there. Breeze extending, and then just getting rid of it. There's DJ Reader, who's applying pressure on Breeze.
Unlike the other side, Dennis Allen doesn't want Deshaun Watson outside the pocket. I don't think the Texans would mind if
No, they have no problem with that, my friend. There's Romeo Cornell, defensive coordinator, now 72 years old, the oldest coordinator or head coach in the league.
And he's still one of the best.
He sure is. They had a great improvement last year in points per game. Went from 27.3 to 19.8 given up a year ago. Here's 3rd and 9. Breeze, look at the time he has. But good coverage, and once again running out of options.
You got to give the Texans a lot of credit. Primarily a man-to-man team. They're mixing their coverages up so good between man and zone. And dare I say, they are confusing Drew Brees. They're running man beaters. They're playing zone. They run zone beaters. They're in man. Right now, Drew Brees doesn't know where to go with the football, and you can tell because he's patting the ball. Normally, he gets rid of it really quick.
So now Will Lutz, who signed that big contract extension this offseason, 32-yard attempt. Now Deshaun is out of the medical tent. We'll get you an update when we return. 7-3, Texans on top. Tomorrow at 9 Eastern, we're going to premiere our next ESPN 30 for 30 film, Rodman, for better or worse. Of course, chronicling the NBA career, the infamous exploits on and off the court of Dennis Rodman. It's narrated by Jamie Foxx. It's tomorrow at 9.
Should be pretty interesting.
As he always was. How much longer until we get the AB 30 for 30 just over the last 5 days alone?
Knock on wood if you're with me. Oh.
So after the field goal for the Saints, touchback here. Lisa?
Hey, Tess. Well, Deshaun Watson came out of the medical tent a couple of minutes ago. He went directly to the bench, picked up his helmet, and started throwing the ball on the sidelines. We saw him score that touchdown and saw him take that bad fall. He was in the medical tent for a good while, but still no indication from the Texans on what the issue was, what they were looking at while he was in the tent.
No, that was the result of coming down hard after the spectacular 21-yard touchdown run where he went airborne up and over and then landed on his lower back. There's Watson. Looks fine, throwing to the outside. Good job of closing fast was Marshawn Lattimore that time on DeAndre Hopkins.
It's a fun battle. We're going to see it all night long. Hopkins has got the better of him on a couple plays. Watch Lattimore close. Early in 2018, when he was giving up a few big plays, he wasn't moving quite as well. He's moving well tonight.
But what a difference early in the season just for the entire defensive backfield for the Saints. And then later in the season, Duke Johnson trying to fight his way just past the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 3rd down and 6. And this place will get loud again.
And for the Saints defense, they're going to need to find somebody opposite Cam Jordan to rush the passer. We know what Cam Jordan can do. Number 92, Marcus Davenport. They traded a first-round pick up to get him in the first round. Can he line up and make a play? Him or Trey Henderson? Somebody's got to help number 94, Cam Jordan.
Davenport is the young athletic freak in year number 2 after they traded up, had 4.5 sacks a year ago. 3rd and 6. They got red on Watson, but he gets it out somehow into the hands of Hopkins. I mean, right in the face of pressure of Cam Jordan, and Watson hangs in tough. 10 yards on 3rd and 6.
I just love what Deshaun Watson is doing. They're going to come run inside, have a game coming here. Doesn't matter. It's pressure in his face. He's going to stand in the face of pressure, coming inside, and just delivers a dime to DeAndre Hopkins.
Couldn't even fully extend that passing arm as Jordan was right there to meet him. He is so tough. Watson downfield again and nearly intercepted, but up and over, and then Hopkins couldn't control, but Von Bell tried to go up and get it.
Hopkins can't believe it. That's 3 times tonight. He's had his hands on the ball, at least 2 hands on the ball. Now that catch would have been pretty tough. Oh! He barely tipped it. Von Bell up and over his hands. Did he get a piece of it?
Just beyond the fingers of Von Bell, and then Hopkins couldn't hold it. So a 2nd and 10. Boy, is Watson fun to watch, isn't he? Here's Duke Johnson. Weaves his way, slithering on that screen, and then Bell with the tackle, but 9 yards that time from Duke Johnson.
Yeah, again, they're running that screen, and I cannot emphasize enough, you cannot run that screen if you don't have a left tackle that's athletic enough to get out. Laramie Tunsil again leading the way, paying big dividends for the Texans.
Now at 3rd and 1, and there is Laramie Tunsil. 5 days on the job. Came over in the big trade with Miami. They go with a tap pass to Kenny Stills, the other part of that trade from Miami. And Stills goes ahead for 4 yards with a chain mover. So Kenny Stills, who was part of that deal that came over with Laramie Tunsil. Originally started off in New Orleans. Had 5 touchdowns when he played at the Superdome. They like the fact he gives them some depth, gives them productivity, nice insurance at a position where they've had considerable injuries beyond Hopkins. Watson looking over his options and then settling on Hyde. Only able to get 2 yards before the pursuit got to him there. A.J. Klein with the tackle.
That's just so good about Deshaun Watson. He's starting to age. He's starting to understand and mature in the pocket. Look downfield, didn't see anything open, hit his check down. Just nice, comfortable, going through his progression there. Like what I'm seeing so far from number 4.
There's Hyde, and Hyde breaks free and then delivers a blow to Von Bell. 21 yards for Carlos Hyde.
Let's watch number 73. Watch the guard Fulton here. I like when the offensive lineman and the big uglies will come off, drive him down, come back, and he picks up behind the linebacker, and Hyde just cuts off of him. Good work by the offensive line there.
Well, he's been dealing with a turf toe. Didn't practice fully until this past Friday. Big Zach Fulton working well there up front. And this time that Saints defensive front was able to create a wall against Carlos Hyde. Under 5 minutes to go in this first half.
And as the Texans move down the field a little bit, Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints, is going to get more aggressive. He's not just going to sit back, let you move the football down the field. The New Orleans Saints are an offensive football team. They do not want you driving the ball. I look for Dennis Allen to get a little bit more aggressive here with this Texans offense.
A little undermanned in the interior of the defensive line. 3 guys missing. Of course, Sheldon Rankins still trying to work his way back from the Achilles. 2nd and 9. There is the aggression, but Watson escapes it and then moves ahead before he's taken down by Mitchell Lavin. It was Demario Davis darting in against Deshaun Watson to start it.
Well, we talked about being a little bit more aggressive. Watch Demario Davis here, linebacker. The guys up front, they take him, Davis, and just come straight up the middle there. Nice read there.
But you got a matador playing quarterback.
Well,
anybody else, he's going down. But the wiry Watson and his athleticism, that's what happens. Now a 3rd and 8.
New Orleans has to get off the field here on this down. It's paramount they get pressure.
3rd and 8. Watson launches downfield to the end zone, well beyond Will Fuller, but a flag is down.
So is Watson.
As is often the case.
Holding. Defense number 26. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
We talked about early in the game 2 guys they wanted to target. Number 25, Eli Apple. Number 26, P.J. Williams. They've targeted them both tonight. There, they get the holding call on P.J. Williams. You know, when talking to defensive back coach Aaron Glenn, he says P.J.'s really good in short space.
Yes.
But when you get him going deep, he doesn't have top-end speed, and he tends to grab a little bit. That's what we saw just now.
He's a guy who's going to be solid against the run,
yes.
Short space, but you don't want to match up with speed down the middle of the field. So a 1st down for the Texans. And Duke Johnson will dive ahead forward close to the 15-yard line. So now a good-looking long drive for Houston.
Keyword long. Remember, this is the first game of the year. Conditioning is a factor. This is over a 6-minute drive, like what they're doing offensively. But if you're Dennis Allen, you're going to have to start to substitute the guys on defense. They have their hands on the hips right now.
Keep it on the ground with Hyde, who's trying to get to the outside as another flag comes down. And Marcus Williams is able to track down Carlos Hyde.
Holding. Offense. Number 88. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's the second-year tight end Jordan Akins.
Yeah, that's holding. Inside on Trey Hendrickson there. I love it. Akins kind of grabbed in there. Can't do that. Now this defense has life, though. Now it's second and long. Play a little zone coverage. Keep the ball in front of you. That's what I would do here. Two safeties back.
That was a miscue. As all of a sudden, Watson was looking for Duke Johnson, and Duke wasn't near him. And remember, there's some new pieces in this offense. Communication, the crowd noise, the execution. Duke Johnson was traded from Cleveland. Came over. Hyde's new to the team. Left tackle's new to the team.
Laramie Tunsil, one of the better young tackles in the National Football League. Screen play. Look at him getting out. That's athleticism. Watch him coming down on the run block, opening up a hole there. Takes two guys. But here's what he came to do. He came to pass block and make sure number 4 stays upright. Oh, look at him. Get physical. Get physical with him, big man. He's bringing a tenacity to this team that they never had before, and I'm seeing it pay dividends tonight.
Remember, he had that bad PR disaster to start his NFL career on draft night. Mike Tannenbaum reminded us, hey, when Miami took him, when they took him, he was the #1 rated player. And Bill O'Brien thinks he could be an all-pro level guy for years to come. Here's 3rd and 16. Flag is down as he gets it to Akins, and Akins lowers a shoulder before making his way to the 13-yard line.
I think Cam Jordan got a little bit too anxious there and jumped off sides. I get it. Easy, big fella. Easy. I know you want the sack. He's trying to bargain with the ref now.
He can talk now.
Offside. Defense, number 94. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 3rd down.
Jordan's got a nonstop enthusiasm.
You got to love it, though. I mean, when you,
I do.
I mean, we're playing a child's game for a living. You got to have some enthusiasm.
So they'll reset it to a 3rd and 11.
If I'm the Saints, I'm not playing man coverage. I'm going to drop back and play zone. Keep the ball in front of you. Hold them to a field goal attempt right now. They have 2 safeties back. Looks like they're going to play zone.
Thirteenth play of this drive. And here's Johnson. Can he get there as he darts ahead, tips toes the sidelines, and it'll be a 1st and goal, Houston.
I talked about playing zone coverage loose. I wouldn't have played that loose. Eli Apple's got to come up and make that tackle.
And here come the Texans again. What can they do before the half? We will find out when we return to Monday Night Football. Beginning of Monday Night Football is our traditional doubleheader. Broncos and Raiders set to come your way. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Lou Riddick, Diana Rossini will have the call there. So 1st and goal. And clock was counting down.
Full start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
So the false start will pin them back 5. A lot of noise down there trying to score before the half. And remember, they practice indoors at their stadium, pumping in the music, going with the who dat chants. They prepped for this. We're for the false start. 1st and goal from the 12. And Hyde Tried to regain his footing before going ahead for 5 yards there.
Yeah, nice play there. Cam Jordan coming inside, forced Hyde to bounce outside, and the Cavalry came to clean it up right there. It's the 15th play of this drive coming up. This New Orleans Saints defense has been on the field a long time. Who's going to step up to make a play? Somebody has to.
So the Saints have 1 timeout remaining. The defense about to see their 15th play of this drive. Genesis halftime show with Susie and Steve. And Randy coming your way. They'll get you set for everything that's going on with Broncos Raiders. Been no news around the Raiders recently at all. And we celebrate 100 years of the NFL. Peyton's Places now streaming on ESPN Plus. And a special performer from G-Eazy. 2nd and goal. Watson. Here's Johnson as he is met. They'll make for 3rd and goal as P.J. Williams came in to chop him down along with Apple.
The closer they get to the goal line, the more the ball is going to be in number 4's hands on the perimeter. Whether that's zone read or bootleg, I look for Bill O'Brien to call a play right now. Put the ball in number 4's hands and let him make a decision. Whether it's zone read or to get him on the edge, give him a run pass option.
That guy, Dennis Allen, has to come up with a way to stop it. Here's 3rd and goal. Deshaun to the end zone, and Hopkins, touchdown. Watson to Hopkins. A 16-play scoring drive. They only had 1 16-play drive all of last year, and they do that before the half.
I just love Watson dropping back in the pocket. Now he steps up. The physical mismatch. Look at him. He's staring at where he's going. Lattimore is on Hopkins. He's got P.J. Williams on the inside. Nice physical catch. Redeeming himself. He's dropped a few tonight, but he makes that one a contested catch. He's one of the better ones at that in the National Football League.
Watson was so good on 3rd down on that long drive. Had a 3rd and 6 that Hopkins also got for 10 yards. And still's got them up to move the chains. And Duke Johnson, that 13-yarder that set up the 1st and goal. And then they're on 3rd and goal. Watson and Hopkins. They just have a way together, don't they? Booker and Lisa here. Drew Brees looks up at that scoreboard. Sees 14-3. Now last year they had a knack of scoring in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Scored 8 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the first half last year. Could use a little something here. Deshaun Watson has been tough, and he has made big plays to put his team up by 11. Let's go to Lisa.
Hey, Tess. Well, yes, the Texans just scored, but more concerning for their team, number 4 is back in the medical tent being evaluated. You saw him take that hard fall when he scored a touchdown earlier in the quarter. It appeared that his back was bothering him, although we never got any official word on what the issue was. Just last series, again, you could see him trying to stretch it out. Deshaun Watson still in the medical tent right now. I'll try to find out more at the half on his status.
Thank you, Lisa. Remember last year he played hurt, had that punctured lung, the broken ribs. Happened in week 5 against Dallas. Went so far as that they were concerned about him flying. They made the 800-mile bus trip to Jacksonville just to play that game.
Yeah, he's one of the toughest quarterbacks in the National Football League. He's gotten beat up a lot. I sure hope the kid's all right.
John Perry, what's going on administratively here?
Formation issue with the receiving team based on where a back foot is regarding the 40-yard line. We need 8 players within 15 yards of that box is what I think they're discussing.
Houston has elected to to decline that penalty. The result of the play is a touchback, first down, New Orleans.
Whatever it is.
And Coach O'Brien, who's often fiery. Brad Seeley, who's the special teams coordinator, is there in the white hat as they're discussing that. John, you've been on the other side of that.
Many, many times, especially with both of these coaches. Great coaches. They can be tough on you, though.
I don't know if I call it a discussion, by the way.
So here's Breeze with under 2 minutes to go and trailing in this first half. As he gets it to Traquan Smith, they'll go hurry up 12 yards to Smith. Smith's the receiver who was on the other end of the record breaker last year when he became the all-time leading passer.
Drew Brees has got one timeout. He's going to try to save that as he works down the field.
Breeze with time, with options, but unable to connect with Michael Thomas.
1:23 left is plenty of time, especially with the weapons that the Saints have. Drew Brees can work the entire field, sidelines deep. I think the Texans are going to play a little zone coverage here. You don't want to give up a big play when you play such a great half defensively, holding New Orleans to 3 points so far.
Are the playmakers for the Saints and the nights they have. That interception came in the red zone on the 6-yard line when Whitney Merciless stepped in front of that pass from Breeze. 2nd and 10. Here's Kamara on the screen, and what a defensive play that time by McKinney. Wrapping up that foot of Kamara, and it's a 7-yard loss.
Bernard McKinney, love what he does here, right here. Number 55, just the athleticism, coming around the corner. He reads the screen. He sees Kamara, comes underneath. Teron Armstead, the left tackle, can't get the block. McKinney beats him outside. Having a good year between he and Zach Cunningham. They give them 2 formidable linebackers in the middle of this defense.
His first Pro Bowl last year. 3rd and 17 after that play. Breeze. How about going up and snagging it that time? Michael Thomas with the effort. As Roby was all over him, and you can see the marker there as that spot is going to be half a yard short with half a minute to play here in this first half.
Joe, I think we're going to have
Before the
a
ball
review.
is snapped, replay has stopped the game. The previous play is under review.
Yeah, I think the replay official initiated the review prior to the snap. Well done, because they want to make sure that the offense gets in formation. And keep in mind here, we can review the catch, which I believe is a catch, and now we're going to take a look at the first down. Looks like he might have a first down.
There it is on marker cam. You can see that orange spot. And here it is from the other angle. I mean, the catch radius of Michael Thomas to go up and then to spin out, snag the ball, and he goes to the outside right to that pylon.
Well, and if you're Bradley Roby, you have to understand Michael Thomas is not going to beat you deep. So you don't have to worry about a 25 or 30-yard route. He went right to the sticks and went up and had a contested catch. Cover 3. You have to play a little closer on Michael Thomas in that situation.
Now, McKinney made that great defensive play. It was the 3rd and long, but that's where this defense struggled last year. 3rd and 10 or longer. Opponents converted more than any team in the league.
You know why? They play a lot of man-to-man.
Yes.
And when you play that man-to-man, you give up those long plays down the field. I give Romeo a lot of credit. He's trying to mix his coverages up tonight. Just a bad play there by Roby, playing too far off.
Well, the ball was spotted behind that 42-yard line. Looked like Thomas had crossed the 42.
Joe, I like it as a first down. The first body part to touch is the left side of the left thigh. And at the time of that
After
touching,
review, the ruling of a completed catch stands. The ball will be placed on the 47-yard line, which results in a first down. The game clock is correct at 26 seconds.
All right, so it is a first down. Saints still have that one timeout remaining. 26 seconds to work with. One last look here at Michael Thomas, and here it is with our Monday Night Football marker cam that gave them the look. to show the first down in that effort from Thomas.
I think what they're discussing is the clock, game clock, based on this catch being touched inbounds. Great job with the ruling of the catch and the first down. Well done. Now they're probably working on some administrative.
The conversation on the field is the game clock. Because we reverse to a running clock, we will take 10 seconds off the clock. We will reduce it to 16 seconds.
John, what have we here?
So we go from a stopped to a running clock based on the reversal to a catch and a first down. By rule, that's a 10-second runoff or a charged timeout. And they have one, so more than likely we'll use a timeout to eliminate the 10-second runoff and go on the snap.
And look at the reaction in the dome. I know we mistakenly said that the ball was spot behind the 42.
Is elected not to
It's
burn a
47.
timeout. As a result, we must take a 10-second runoff. The game clock is correct.
Well, based on his decision to not use a timeout, everything's good here.
So it is a first down with the ball on the 47-yard line, but only 16 seconds remain. But that first down is in the pocket. Breeze, that was tipped and should have been caught nonetheless, as it still made its way to Thomas, but it will leave 9 ticks of the clock left.
And because Sean Payton didn't use the timeout, with 9 seconds left, you can still use the entire field. I agree with that situation. The timeout is more valuable than those seconds right there, especially if you're trying to get in field goal range. Nice call there by Sean. 9 seconds is plenty of time. The entire field is open. Drew Brees has to make a good decision here to set up his team in field goal range.
Final seconds. Breeze, as he drives it inside the 40. Remember, they do have the timeout, which he will use. 15-yard catch as he gets it to Mike Thomas. And that'll give an opportunity to Will Lutz. It was a career long of 57. And he hit from 60 in warm-ups. It should be from about 56 based on where they're spotting that. Darren Rizzi, their excellent special teams coordinator, said Lutz, consummate pro, he's had a great camp. This will be from 56. And it just leaks off to the side. So that is how we end it. Watson had the spectacular 21-yard touchdown run and then the short touchdown pass to Hopkins. And it's a 14-3 lead for the Texans as the Genesis halftime show starts now. 100th season of the NFL, 50th season of Monday Night Football, and it's the Texans 14-3. Deshaun Watson with that spectacular fourth down touchdown run, also had the touchdown pass. Meanwhile, Breeze with the interception thrown in the red zone. Joe Tessitore and Booger McFarland with you here in New Orleans. The start of our doubleheader of Monday Night Football action. Raiders and Broncos still set to come your way. The Saints have 3 points. The Saints have 3 points here at home. Alvin Kamara only has 20 yards from scrimmage.
Well, I think the Texans defense has done an outstanding job. They're mixing their coverages. They're playing zone. They're playing man. They're not allowing Drew Brees to get comfortable. So we can talk about Kamara not having many yards or many touches. You got to give a lot of credit to this Texans defense. And on offense, Deshaun Watson is doing an outstanding job, especially in the red zone. He's calling his own number and putting the ball into the end zone.
He's so tough. I mean, he goes up and over, takes that big hit to the lower back. He's able to escape from pressure. And then he was able to find DeAndre Hopkins for the 2-yard touchdown pass. And then Breeze had an opportunity there in the final minute. Put themselves in position Couldn't come up with a field goal attempt, but he will get the ball to start this second half. And here is Deontay Harris. As Harris is met, good coverage that time as Cole made the special teams tackle. We go to Lisa.
Hey, Tess, well, I just asked Bill O'Brien about the health of his quarterback, Deshaun Watson. As you know, at the end of the second quarter, he was back in the medical tent for a second time being evaluated after falling awkwardly on his back earlier in the second quarter. Again, he was checked out twice in the medical tent. He did eventually jog off the field at halftime, but he was the last person out of the locker room at halftime. He just walked by me. I asked him, "Are you okay?" He said, "I'm fine. It's just a bruise."
He's been through a lot. He's going to give it a go here as he has that whole first half. Ted Ginn with the reception there from Breeze as he goes for 11 yards. And all the adversity that Watson has faced in his life growing up, and then goes to Clemson, does what he does there, and then he's already proven himself in the NFL as being a tough guy.
Well, no doubt about it. And now they give him a left tackle and Laramie Tunsil to protect him, so the protection should be better. But how ironic is it that on a run he gets hurt tonight? He's been sensational. For this New Orleans Saints team and Drew Brees, what are the adjustments they made at halftime? Let's see what they are.
Murray, as he was met that time by Merciless. Davis Murray, of course, had success with the Raiders. He was a Pro Bowler in 2015 and was with the Vikings, and comes over here as Mark Ingram, left in free agency to Baltimore.
He's a good player, but he's no Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram was the juice guy for New Orleans, the physical guy. Murray is more of a one-cut downhill runner. Ingram had quicker feet. They're going to miss Mark Ingram in this offense.
Breeze with time and in stride. Here he goes, Alvin Kamara. And that is exactly what he can do. Heat up on a moment's notice. 41 yards for number 41.
It's man-to-man coverage, the bread and butter of the Houston Texans. Number 41, Zach Cunningham. Number 41, Alvin Kamara. It's mano y mano. Little choice route. He shakes him, sticks him inside. That's a mismatch, folks. There are not many cornerbacks in the National Football League can cover him one-on-one, let alone a linebacker. The New Orleans Saints have been waiting on that big play and that man-to-man coverage, and they finally got it.
Two tight ends with a double shift, including Taysom Hill. As Breeze will get it out to Hill, but Hill couldn't hold on to it as Aaron Colvin was closing on him. First two seasons for Alvin Kamara, just sensational. 30 touchdowns, all the rushing yards, all the receiving yards, over 1,500 on the ground, over 1,500 receiving. Just the second player in NFL history to hit those marks in any 2-year span. Marshall Faulk did it. He's doing it in his first 2 years. And Murray catches a seam. Here goes Latavius Murray in for the score.
Murray with the run, but let's watch number 71 here, Ryan Ramczyk. Watch the block that he gets as he comes down and seals right there, just enough. Might have gotten away with a hole, but just enough. And Murray doing what he does, which is a one-cut downhill run.
They only had 3 points at the half. It was their fewest points at a half of a home opener since '94. They made up for it quickly, didn't they? Murray from 30 yards out. Drew Brees say about momentum, and boy, oh boy, can that guy change it. Alvin Kamara on that 2nd and 9. Brees finds him, goes for 41 yards.
Nick Saban said a long time ago, when I'm in trouble or I have a crucial play, I don't call plays, I call players. They just called Alvin Kamara, and he made a big play for him.
Yeah. Coincidentally, Kamara started his college career at Alabama. And was suspended by Saban, and then transferred to Hutchinson Community College in Kansas, and then ended up at Tennessee, and now he's a superstar in the NFL. So connect those dots, Buck.
It's time now for our Invisalign total replay. Let's take a look at this touchdown in the first half. Deshaun Watson, little zone read. He gets a lead blocker in front of him. We call it a bluff. That's Akins. Now you have the quarterback in space with a lead block. Just a great play design. Marcus Davenport goes inside the defensive end. You get a lead block on the outside. But watch as Watson lands on his back. We think that maybe what's giving him a little trouble right now as he's walking around a little gingerly.
Inside handoff, Carlos Hyde, who bounces it to the outside and will then lower his shoulder into Demario Davis, and it'll be a Texans first down. 12-yard run that time from Carlos Hyde.
And something to notice, Hyde was running it, but he also had a pitch man to the outside. So he may have ran a little option there if somebody would have came up and taken him a little early. Bill O'Brien going in his bags of tricks here in the second half.
Coming in and looking over the rail here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. What a night. Monday Night Football, start of the 50th season. Play action, Watson, pressure up the middle. Davenport was on him, and then he has to throw it short that time, looking for Hopkins, as Davenport was trying to get after Deshaun Watson. He is critical to the success of this defense. They need him to step up.
Well, Cam Jordan is on the other side. He's going to get a lot of attention. Sheldon Rankins, we haven't talked about him tonight. He's coming back from a torn Achilles. He's not going to be back for a few more weeks, so it's paramount that they get some pressure from the other end. Marcus Davenport, University of Texas, San Antonio, has to step up this year.
Remember, he was the skyrocketing prospect before the 2018 draft. We'll see what he will offer up in season number 2. Here's Duke Johnson trying to find anything on that left side as he goes ahead for a couple of yards. There's Lamar Miller, was set to be the starting running back, but he is out for the season with the torn ACL.
Yeah, he is, and now they got to do it by committee. We've seen Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson. Those guys are going to be the primary guys. Right now, it's a big third down test. The New Orleans Saints have the momentum. The offense came out and scored. Now the defense wants to get off the field to give Drew Brees the ball back. Let's see, can they do it?
Third and 8. They only bring 3. Watson pumps and then drives the ball to the 45-yard line, complete to Will Fuller. 15 yards on 3rd and 8 from Deshaun Watson.
I just love the maturity of Deshaun Watson. In the pocket, it's a zone coverage. He's not pressing. He sees it. And now, instead of taking off like he would have been his rookie year, he steps up and he's running or scrambling in the pocket to throw. That's what the veteran quarterbacks do. Rodgers, Brees, they move around to throw and get the big play.
Nothing happening there for Hyde. Trey Hendrickson is there to wrap him up. There's Hendrickson's 3rd year out of FAU.
It's a big drive for the Texans. Even if they don't score, they're starting to recapture the momentum. That offense had taken it. This dome was electric. Now they come out. Physical football. The Houston Texans offensive line is being a little bit more physical than New Orleans.
Watson turned his back for a moment and realized that the Saints' front was right in his face, so he had to throw it away. Marshawn Lattimore was involved with that as well.
Dennis Allen, you got to love him. Defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. He's not going to allow Watson to sit back. He brought 7 guys on that play. He's going to force Watson to get rid of the ball.
So now a 3rd and 10. And Deshaun Watson tonight on 3rd down is 7 of 7 with 4 first downs. Can he keep it up here against this wall of noise here at the Superdome?
If I'm Dennis Allen, I heat him up again, Tess.
Pressure up the middle. Pushed back to left guard. Watson gets free. Look at him go on 3rd and 10, just striding along as Alex Anzalone could do nothing about it.
You know, when you have a mobile quarterback, you got to control the pocket. You got to make sure that you keep him in here. They do a bad job. They're bringing pressure. Let's watch Cam Jordan, defensive end. At that point, there's an alley there. And when you have a mobile quarterback and you see that alley, he's going to take it. Even though he's running a little gingerly, he still has enough speed and athleticism to get out of there. Watch him. Just look at his face. Look at it. He's getting down out of bounds. Nice play there by Watson.
18 yards on 3rd and 10 when his left guard was flattened on his backside. Lisa.
Hey, Tess, well, I was talking to DeAndre Hopkins earlier this week about how Deshaun Watson has evolved as a quarterback, and he said it's really just his communication off the field. He said, take, for instance, just the other night, Thursday night, during the Green Bay-Chicago game, there was a play that Aaron Rodgers had with Devontae Adams, and Deshaun, he messaged Will Fuller and myself to look at it, see if we can do that. He said he didn't used to do things like that before. Maybe he just didn't feel comfortable, but he does now.
He has such a better understanding of what they want to be as an offense, of what he's dissecting against a defense. Sky is the limit with this guy. 2nd and 4.
A busted play here.
As the flag is down and the ball is intercepted by Lattimore. We'll, of course, check on the flag as Lattimore continues to return it here. Watson tried to trip him up, and then he's forced out.
Think it's coming back, Joe. Offside
Offside.
defense.
Defense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Yeah, number 70 right here, Mitch Laven, is the guy that's offsides. Right there, Deshaun Watson knows he's got a free play here. And when you get a free play like that, as a veteran quarterback, you're trying to go deep and get a big play because you know regardless of what happens, even if it's bad, you're going to get the ball back.
You say Mitchell Laven, what is he doing out there? Remember, Sheldon Rankin's still coming back from the Achilles. David Onyemata, the key reserve, has got the suspension. Mario Edwards, who has been dealing with a hamstring. So they're thinned out in the interior of that defensive line. 9th play of this drive.
It's been a physical drive. They're running the football.
Watson into the end zone and into the hands of DeAndre Hopkins.
We've been discussing the matchup all night long. DeAndre Hopkins against number 23, Lattimore. Marcus Williams also at safety inside. It's a little zone coverage. Cover 4. Marcus Williams comes down. They switched the matchup up there. Wasn't man-to-man. It was zone. Cover 4. And Marcus Williams playing off coverage on DeAndre Hopkins. That's a tough cover for a safety.
2nd touchdown of the night for Hopkins. We got the all-pro receivers in this game. Hopkins and Thomas. And Hopkins is enjoying it right now, isn't he? (21-10). Thanks to Nuke Hopkins. Got those big hands that have quadruple XL gloves. They work out pretty well, don't they? Game on, took a loss, but I stay strong. Super Bowl rings, I just want to play off. Gotta go hard. 10. Texans on top. Joe Booger, Lisa, and John here in New Orleans. 4th time that Hopkins and Watson have connected on multiple touchdowns in a game. 16-yard touchdown catch moments ago. Deontay Harris will take a knee. I'll tell you who didn't take a knee this offseason was Deshaun Watson. He was on the go all over the world, from the UK to Italy. And football camps throughout his travels, was in Austria. That's my favorite pick right there, Boog. On top of the camel in Egypt and the Great Wall in China. Little business and pleasure. Was working with youth players at football camps in each country. There's a lot of sightseeing. He said he loved seeing the history, loved the cultural immersion. We said to him the other day, we said, what'd you do? He said, well, I actually spent time with a family in Egypt. They didn't know who he was. I said, I loved it. They had to Google me. Here's Breeze as he's able to get rid of it. And Kamara is able to spin free. Alvin Kamara with the extra effort there for 11 yards.
Yeah, just a nice job by Drew Brees. He gets pressure inside from number 98, DJ Reader. He's able to elude and get the ball to his playmaker, Alvin Kamara.
Boy, is he slithery, isn't he?
Oh, man. And he's bigger than you think. 215 pounds, slithery. I think the best thing about him, Tess, is his contact balance.
Oh, he's got unbelievable balance.
Yes.
Stays on his feet while eluding tacklers. Always looks like he's going down for him. You go on Instagram, you see the videos of his training. It's gone viral how he does the balance training down there in South Florida. And Breeze happy to go back to Kamara again. It seems to be the game plan here in this second half to try to spark things after only 3 points in that first half. And Kamara, we said he only had 20 scrimmage yards in that first half. Very rare for him, a guy who's been putting up incredible stats over the first 2 years of his career.
You know, and if Romeo Crennel, the defensive coordinator for the Texans, is going to drop back and just play zone, I dump it down to Kamara every time.
Okay, Jam. Ready. You ready? What's that?
There's Latavius Murray. So you get Kamara receiving the ball out of the backfield. Then you get a dose of 230-pound, 7-year veteran Latavius Murray going ahead to move the chains.
Yeah, J.J. Watt, number 99, really hadn't heard a lot from him. Got 2 guys on him there, just being physical, showing him a lot of attention. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's been quiet tonight. It's unlike him.
And now lining up at quarterback is Taysom Hill.
Zone read, here we go.
And he pulls it. So here's Hill trying to get to the outside. And bouncing off of him at first was Roby, and he was able to keep his balance as Taysom Hill goes for 3 yards there.
Well, and if you've done your scouting like we talked about, when he's at the quarterback position, the #1 play they do is the zone read. He pulls it, being physical, coming on the outside.
Did you see the windshield of the Monday Night Football bus this week going through the South? Did you see all those big bugs that were splattered on the windshield?
Bug meat windshield?
Yeah, that was. I give Roby credit for the effort, but Hill had the momentum, and at 221 pounds was bringing it. 2nd and 7. Breeze as he gets a complete for another first down. That goes to Ted Ginn for 10 yards.
And I think that's what Drew has to do. He has to be methodical. They're not going to give up many big plays. They went man-to-man on the previous drive, and Alvin Kamara hit him with a big play. So now Romeo, the defensive coordinator for the Texans, has decided to sit back and play zone. But he's got to get some pressure in this zone from someone.
Empty look here on first down. Breeze with time, and now he's in rhythm. There is Ginn again, and this is what you see with Breeze when he finds that stride. Getting the ball out quick, knowing where to go, guys in space. Here come the Saints.
And that's 30 dropbacks with no sacks for the Houston Texans. And I think if you're Breeze right now, the tempo, they have to pick the tempo of the offense up. They don't need to go no huddle. Let's get in and out of huddle. Press against the Houston Texans.
40 years old, 19th season.
Ready. Easy. Chill. Mike 4-1. Mike 4-1.
He's fanning. It's a pass. He's talking about the protection here.
Here comes pressure from the safety as Reed comes up, and Breeze quickly gets it to the outside to Thomas.
It's so good for a veteran quarterback to know when the blitz is coming. They want the blitz. The veteran quarterbacks want to be blitzed. He sees it coming. He changes to protection. He knows he has one-on-one coverage on the outside.
And what side did he throw to?
Exactly where the blitz came from.
Exactly.
That's what the veteran quarterbacks do. The Rodgers, the Brady, the Breezes, they pray that the defensive coordinator blitzes them.
How easy did Tom make it look last night up in Foxborough? Kamara hesitating, probing, finding, and then going forward. That was something as he's tiptoeing at the line, waiting, looking, finding, and going. Watch this.
Just take a look at his feet. Look how patient. Just probing, looking around, and watch him put his foot in the ground. There. Once he puts that foot in the ground, the acceleration from that moment until he gets through the line, unreal. Watch that right foot. Boom. I mean, his balance, his vision. The game plan has changed. It's feature Alvin Kamara time in the second half, and that's working for New Orleans.
Breeze that time, felt Angelo Blackson coming in on him. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
It's good interior pressure there by number 97, Angelo Blackson. He's the better pass rusher between he and number 92, Brandon Dunn. So the defensive line coach, Coach Weaver, said you'll see a lot more Angelo if this is going to be a passing game. He got good pressure there. And now we are in the Taysom Hill territory. Red zone, he's in the game. He's at quarterback. Again, big zone read formation. Wouldn't be surprised if he throws a pass.
On the run, quarterback sweep. And once again, able to keep his footing when a defensive back comes up and get extra yards. That time it was Justin Reed that found out how powerful Taysom Hill is.
You know, Coach Payton calls him a little Steve Young. Says he's one of the better athletes, if not the best athlete on the football team.
The conversation really became the heir to the throne of Drew Brees. Listen, they got Teddy Bridgewater for a reason here, but Taysom Hill is more than just an exotic Swiss Army knife. He can show a little something.
Yes.
Fascinating to see where his career goes. 3rd and 4 now.
Where's J.J. Watt? We haven't seen him tonight. Can he get a pressure?
Brees with time to the end zone and into the hands of Taysom Hill.
Drew Brees looking. He's just reading through it. Hill and Thomas on the same side. They run a little cross action. It almost looks like a pick. He fakes the pick, like a little pick and roll in basketball there, Tess. And Drew Brees reads it out and hits Taysom Hill for a touchdown.
Got ourselves a game here, don't we?
Took a while.
Flag is down on the extra point attempt from Lutz.
During the try, personal foul, defense, number 97. New Orleans is elected to take that 15-yard penalty on the kickoff. Timeout.
Well, he can do it all. Play a little quarterback and run it, and then catch it on the glory end from Brees. Taysom Hill. This is only the beginning. We got Derek Carr against the Broncos. Chubb and Von Miller he's got to deal with tonight.
Good luck.
Well, you know the one thing he doesn't have to do is keep saying things to try to make Antonio Brown happy. Just get to go out there. A.B. relief for the Raiders. That is coming up. Going to be a great night ahead with Broncos and Raiders. Remember, we had the penalty. So Thomas Morstead now, famous for the onside kick in the Super Bowl, is out there trying to pin them here on the kickoff from the 50. And Carter is only able to get out to the 16. That is exceptional awareness by the special teams unit for the Saints to take advantage of the 15-yard penalty and put Morstead in there for a high pin kickoff as Darren Rizzi, the coordinator, calls for that. And now the field position detriment of Texans.
Yeah, but I mean, that hadn't hurt them so far. I mean, they've
had long drives.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping the clock, moving the ball away from the New Orleans Saints. Again, the momentum is back with the Saints. The dome is coming alive. Let's see how the Texans respond.
That drives of 94, 75, and 75 yards with touchdown drives tonight. Here's Watson, man in his face, and incomplete as he was trying to get it to Fells, it appears. It was Eli Apple who was coming in off that corner spot. There you talk about length of drives and the field position. The last 3 drives, look at that. Long drives, all touchdowns.
And you know what that does? Keeps Drew Brees on the bench. And that's what they said they wanted to do. They want to have long, methodical drives. It's up to Dennis Allen and the Saints defense to get this offense off the field.
There's Duke Johnson, and Johnson is wrapped up that time as it was Williams and Klein converging on the tackle.
It's like how the Texans are being physical. 19 rushing attempts. Even if they aren't getting many yards, they're rushing the football. But now if you're the Saints, here's another opportunity. The dome is buzzing. It's 3rd down. Your offense is moving the ball in the second half. Can you get a stop right now to get Drew Brees back the ball?
Set the play clock to 25. Thank you.
Marshawn Lattimore is following DeAndre Hopkins. It's a matchup one-on-one. Looks like it's man-to-man across the board.
Right on him as Hopkins comes inside that 20. Look at the time he has, and he wants every bit of it, and it is intercepted. That is Marcus Williams with the pick, and then something extra with the throwdown, and the flag reigns in because of it.
Joe, you're exactly correct. Interception, then a tackle, but the tackle is a pickup and a throwdown. Personal foul, 15 yards.
And now they got to clean things up as both teams are right in the midst of it. And for Deshaun Watson, his first interception in his last 228 pass attempts in the regular season. Watch what DeAndre Hopkins does here at the end of this play as he up and over slams Marcus Williams.
It's an interception by the defense. On the play, we have a UNR, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 10. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced in the end of the run. Automatic first down. Timeout.
I think Hopkins was watching a little too much Khabib on ESPN Plus UFC this weekend. Minute 48 left in the 3rd here. Watson just launched it downfield. Marcus Williams tracked it, came up with the pick. Of course, Williams, a DB who overplayed Stephon Diggs, gave up the Minneapolis Miracle. He came up with a heck of a play right there. And then the frustration from DeAndre Hopkins and the penalty, and now great field position for New Orleans to start things off here.
Ready? You ready? What's that?
Brees, as he's wont to do, get it out quickly to the outside to Thomas.
You know, we look at Marcus Williams. Watch how far he comes. He comes from the opposite hash. The distance covered, reading Deshaun Watson's eyes, going up, making a tremendous pick. He gets a lot of criticism for the Minneapolis Miracle, but that was a great play. And then Deshaun Hopkins body slammed in there. He's telling the ref, hey, ref, I'm just trying to get him down. The ref's like, nah, big guy. It's not WWE. It's Monday Night Football, not Monday Night Raw, baby.
Book, absolutely correct call. Great game management call as well.
Boy, we've really put you to work there, John Perry, haven't we? Fresh off your Super Bowl assignment, now up in the booth on Monday Night Football, and got a lot to talk about tonight. And here's Kamara as he gets loose, and Kamara still fighting. Ball is out there as it's picked up by Cook. As we'll see what they say here at the end of that Kamara run as he went ahead for 28.
The ruling on the field is a fumble by the offense, recovered by another offensive player legally. First down.
All works out for the Saints nonetheless. Watch what happens at the end here.
Yeah, he's down.
He's down.
Yeah.
He's absolutely down by contact.
Yeah. This second half has featured a lot of Alvin Kamara. Whether it's coming out of the backfield, nice little choice route, throw it to him in the flat, toss sweep. You can tell what the second half game plan has been. Let's feature number 41.
And timeout is going to be used here by the Saints with 11 seconds remaining in the third in what has been a wildly entertaining third quarter.
Let's take up that last play. I want to focus on one of the big guys here. Number 72, Teron Armstead. I want you to watch him, how he gets outside and leads Alvin Kamara. That's a 6'5", 320-pound left tackle showing speed and athleticism. We're talking a lot about Laramie Tunsil tonight. Teron Armstead says, hey, don't forget about me. I'm one of the better left tackles in the National Football League.
You know, that feeling a corner must have when he has to come up and know the 300-pounder's coming in. And Bradley Roby's sitting there. And Roby's a tough guy, strong guy, $194, but that's a whole different world, man. That is a whole different world when Armstead's coming at you. He's a very athletic left tackle.
Yeah.
Now the elder statesman, by the way,
yes,
of this line, with Max Unger having retired, the center who Breeze had so much trust in. And Josh Hill is met. Tried to make the most of it, but wrestled down by Justin Reed. Well, what do we have here to start off the 50th season of Monday Night Football? Do the Saints have a comeback in them, or will Watson keep playing the role of hero? Fourth quarter's ahead. We are ready for the start of the fourth quarter. And could it be the Saints ready to take the lead here against the pesky Texans, who have been led by Deshaun Watson and company? Alvin Kamara has sparked things here in the second half. Of course, he's a go-to guy in the red zone for Drew Brees as well. 2nd and 12. Brees trying to extend right to the end zone. He goes, and it goes for a score. Traquan Smith.
Drew Brees has been waiting on man-to-man all night long. He finally gets it. Traquan Smith against number 22, Aaron Colvin. He loses him, the nickel back, and Brees extends the play. We think about Watson outside the pocket. Drew Brees says, hey, don't forget about me. I can make plays outside the pocket myself. Nice pitch and catch there by the old man.
Aaron Colvin got turned around, and Traquan Smith took advantage. And just like that, the Saints have the lead. He never stops, does he? Right there with the receivers. The master craftsman at age 40. What a career it's been. Several NFL records, completion percentage, all-time passing yards, and is in the chase of Peyton Manning, as is Tom Brady, for all-time touchdowns. Brady had 3 last night as they demolished Pittsburgh at home. And now Brees, with what he's been able to do tonight, sitting there at 522. So that chase will go on all year long.
I love how he gets up on his toes, man. We know he's not a tall quarterback, but he gets up, extends. Who's going to be the guy opposite Michael Thomas? That's what everybody wonders. We know what Michael Thomas is and what Alvin Kamara is. Who's going to be the guy? Traquan Smith caught the record breaker last year. Now he catches one tonight.
Well, you know, in Traquan Smith, it's always things slow down when you get to that second year in the league, right? I was listening to a local radio interview with him, and he said it was like trying to learn a foreign language last year, being part of this Saints offense. And now he feels like he has a better understanding. You saw it on that play as he was really one with Brees, who was extending things there. Traquan Smith, mentioned it earlier, had that great Monday Night Football moment when he caught the Brees NFL history-making 62-yard touchdown when he became the all-time passing leader.
And now what this defense really wants a lead. Let's see how Deshaun Watson responds.
Tap pass to Stills. They ran this earlier for a first down. This time it's a tackle for a loss as Marshawn Lattimore was right on it.
Yeah, this defense right now is playing with the hair on fire. They have the lead for the first time tonight. They feel like they've overcome adversity right now. It's going to be paramount that Houston can figure out how to get a play, get a first down. Nice physical tackle there by Marshawn Lattimore. Good to see him playing up to his capability tonight.
I almost sense them feeding off the crowd right now. 2nd and 14 as Hyde splits out to the top of your screen. Empty look for Watson. Watson patiently taking his time and then breaking free there as a flag is down was Jordan Akins as A.J. Klein couldn't contain him. Flag is at the 31-yard line. Looks like it's going to be defensive holding, I believe. 17 yards for Akins.
Yeah, it looks like maybe number 56, Demario Davis.
Holding. Defense. Number 56. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Yeah, there's Demario Davis. Hopkins is the crosser, and Davis is trying to be physical with him. Gets a little bit too physical and grabs him. There's your hold.
Pressure off the edge. They run against it, and Hyde gets free. Hopkins out in front, paving the way as it was a good run call against the blitz. 18 yards that time for Carlos Hyde.
I like it here. Watch the guard, number 73, Zach Fulton. He pulls. He leads Hyde through the hole. They caught the Saints in a blitz. Eli Apple was coming off the edge. Nice call into the blitz. Little power run there.
You get that double cat blitz there, and all of a sudden running backs already past them as they're taking steps forward.
So far, a nice answer by the Houston Texans, being down for the first time tonight.
Showing pressure off the edge this time with Klein. Unable to pick up the second guy coming, and that was Anzalone. 3rd sack of the game for the Saints.
Well, let's take a look at it. We got number 47, Anzalone, number 53, Klein on the outside. Those two guys are going to come on a blitz. Laramie Tunsil, the left tackle, was confused. He didn't block anyone. Giving him a lot of credit tonight for making a lot of blocks. But there in that situation, they brought two guys, and he didn't block anyone.
Well, just think of the communication issues when you've only been on the job for 5 days and then you're playing in this atmosphere. 2nd and 16. Quickly to Carter. Nothing at all. This Saints front is very active and charged up right now as Von Bell came up from that safety position as well.
I wish you could feel the energy in this building, the speed at which this defense is playing. They picked it up a gear right now, and they have a 3rd and long. Important. Watson does not need to force the ball right now. If I'm the Saints, pin your ears back. Try to come get the quarterback. If I'm the Texans, put the ball in number 4's hands and let him make a play.
5th time that it's been 3rd and 10 or longer for Watson and the Texans. 3rd and 17. Watson, flag is down as he was trying to make anything of it, and eventually Trey Hendrickson is the one who came up with him.
Holding. Offense, number 76. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Normally, it's hard to get pressure with a 3-man rush. The Saints had a 3-man rush with a spy technique and was able to get to Deshaun Watson. That's a good job. Now, all the momentum is with the New Orleans Saints, and Drew Brees is getting the ball back.
Remember, a rookie return man is back for the Saints, and Deontay Harris. an undrafted rookie in that. Crunch time, fourth quarter. Got to play smart. Put those heels on the 10. Trevor Daniel on to punt for the Texans. Flag is down as he fields the ball inside the 5, but 54-yard punt.
He didn't listen to your advice there. You put your heels on the 10, the ball goes over your head, you let it bounce. That's the purpose of putting your heels on the 10. Rookie return, a little bit of a mistake there by him.
Might have illegal use of hands at the top of the screen with the gunner. That or a face mask. Looked like the right hand goes to the helmet.
Illegal formation on the punting team. The player did not get inside the numbers. New Orleans is elected to accept that 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and re-kick, fourth down.
Substitution, and he doesn't get inside the numbers is what they have called.
Well, and that's a big penalty because the young rookie, Deontay Harris, made a mistake. You don't catch punts inside the 10-yard line. You put your heels on the 10, the ball goes over your head, you don't touch it. The ball comes in front of you, you catch it. He made a mistake there.
You got a ball you got to pick up behind Deontay Harris there.
Flag is still down too. Refs, they got to clean the field up a little bit, a little housekeeping.
Look, have you seen our booth? Who are we to criticize?
Hey, man.
This thing's a mess up here.
My side looks pretty clean.
I don't know about that. So we'll reset things here. Back up Daniel. Maybe Harris gets a chance at a return. The NCAA All-Division record holder for returns, 14 in his career. As now he calls for a scatter poison as it takes an awkward bounce at the 20 back towards the Texans side. So after the penalty was only a 34-yard punt. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Dodge. Last year on Monday Night Football, Drew Brees broke Peyton Manning's all-time passing record of 71,940 yards. And then there was that great moment right there when he went over and saw his family. They were celebrating. And he turned to his kids and he said, I want to remind you, you can do anything you want if you set your mind to it.
Tess, let's not forget what Drew Brees has been through. Undersized quarterback from the Big Ten, the shoulder injury, not knowing if he'd ever play again, and then to be the all-time passing leader, to break it in this dome on a big play. What a moment, what a career.
So here we are, 24-21, 10:47 left in the game. Those hidden yards, always critical. The Saints picked up 25 yards with that penalty and then the repunt. Brees steps up in the pocket, and look at Kamara trying to get to it. Boy, that would have been something if he could have hit him in stride.
Holding, offense, number 71, 10-yard penalty, first down.
But instead they're going to tag Ryan Ramczyk, the right tackle.
We've been looking for him all night long. Number 99, J.J. Watt. He doesn't get the sack, but he draws the hold and play just with effort, sinking the rip. And number 71, Ryan Ramczyk, has to hold it. That's a hidden play. He won't get credit for a sack, a tackle for loss, but that's a big-time play by J.J. Watt.
That's Badger on Badger right there, the Wisconsin boys. Whereas J.J. had a big offseason when he gave the commencements up at UW. There's a delay here. There's Kamara able to cut back in. There's that balance we talk about as he's still going out past the 45-yard line. My, oh my, is he something. 28 yards there from Alvin Kamara.
It's a long yardage situation. This is simple nickel 40. It's a draw play. He's got offensive lineman Ryan Ramczyk, the right tackle, leading him. But look at the contact balance. Look how balanced he is. Not only does he have the vision and the elusiveness, but just look how he bounces off of contact and gets back in balance. That's God-given ability there, to have that kind of balance at that speed in the NFL.
And now Murray gets his turn, and he is wrestled down by Carlos Watkins. There was a lot of contact with Breeze on that throw to Kamara there. I don't know that he came out of that feeling so good as things collapsed on him just a few plays ago. We're under 10 minutes to go, the 3-point lead. The Saints are so good when it comes to fourth quarter possession.
And the reason they are is because of Mark Ingram, and he's not here anymore. Now they have Latavius Murray. They used to line up and be physical and run the football. What do they do now that Ingram is in Baltimore?
2nd and 11. Breeze taken down. As Whitney Merciless continues to have a big night. Had the interception in the first half, and now the sack here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Merciless is going to get the sack. He's going to come off the edge and get the sack. But what I want you to watch is the penetration up the middle. The bull rush right here by number 98 DJ Reader sets the tone, takes Larry Warford, makes Breeze step back, and that allows Whitney Merciless to get the sack.
It's 3rd and 19, and Breeze has not attempted a throw 20 yards downfield tonight, and it won't happen here as Kamara gets the handoff on 3rd and 19. So they'll be punting away. So Merciless comes up with the big sack there, and the Texans are going to get the ball back. Key moment there in that defensive series for the Texans as Merciless put them in the hole.
Yeah, that was a big time stop because you felt like the momentum was starting to move. Alvin Kamara, he's been big in the second half. A lot of touches in the second half. He's the guy that's been carrying the load, and you felt like the New Orleans Saints were starting to get off a little bit.
Thomas Morstead, Jamie Cole, punting guru disciple, who is 3rd highest career average in NFL history. As he looks to pin it here, and what an effort by Morstead. Look at that. Incredible punt, 53 yards directional to put the Texans in a hole just when they needed it. Hey, Boog, one of the best in the biz is about to go in the doubleheader of Monday Night Football. Von Miller, who was challenged by his new coach, Vic Fangio, when he first got there. He said, you know what? I think he can be even better. Even better than 98 career sacks at this point. He took the challenge. He said, I agree. Coach me up. Let's go.
He's going to be better. So is the guy next to him, Bradley Chubb, going to be better also.
There's Duke Johnson as he is wrestled down at about the 7-yard line. So that is coming your way, Broncos and Raiders. Meanwhile, we got ourselves a game here in the fourth quarter in New Orleans.
And isn't it amazing? We're midway through the fourth quarter. The Texans are down. And the guy who said he always has the S on his chest has the ball, and Deshaun Watson on to lead his team back from down 3.
2nd and 6 from his own goal line. Ball is to the outside of Hopkins, incomplete, and it's going to be a big 3rd down.
Yeah, the Saints brought Demario Davis on a blitz, forced Watson to rush the throw. Hopkins wasn't quite out of his break there, had to throw it before he wanted to.
When last they left off, it was the NFC title game heartbreak for these fans. Now trying to encourage this defense to start off this season with sweet redemption, to climb the mountain again. 3rd down and 6.
And if you're the Texans, you have to expect pressure. It's going to be man-to-man across the board, and they're going to try to heat Watson up.
Watson, and they come in as the flag is down and blow it dead before the snap.
Full start. Offense from the 25. After this is the goal. 3rd down.
Number 25, Duke Johnson. He sees Demario Davis about to blitz, and he's moving too quickly. He can see it. Watch number 25. He sees him creeping. Look, he knows he's coming, and he's got a little bit of a head start. He knows right now that he's responsible for the linebacker.
And with this crowd roaring down, this offense, that's their third pre-snap penalty tonight. 3rd down and 10. Watson from his own end zone. Steps up, drives the ball, and what an absolute incredible effort from Hopkins. The all-pro receiver laying out and coming up with 21 yards on 3rd and 10.
Let's look at DeAndre Hopkins. Little zone coverage. He's coming across. How about the layout? How about him going full horizontal? And what about Deshaun Watson stepping up in the pocket and driving it in there? That's a big-time NFL throw by Deshaun Watson. Great catch by Hopkins.
Here's Johnson, able to bounce it to the outside, a stiff arm, and something extra. Duke Johnson, and all of a sudden, the Texans are out past midfield. It was 3rd and long with Watson in his own end zone, and now 32 yards later by Johnson. Look at them.
Yeah, I'm going to give Duke Johnson credit, but watch number 94, Cameron Jordan. He loses contain. He's in the left end position. He has to contain that play, and then Duke Johnson gets loose.
Watch Johnson able to stay in.
Yeah, a little toe tap, baby. Come on.
Good balance that time. Marcus Williams a little slow to get up at the end of that play as the training staff was walking him off the field. Williams had that interception in the 3rd quarter. Hey, let me tell you something, Bud. We watched a lot of football starting on Thursday night. That game was a dud, penalty-filled, choppy offense. A lot of games yesterday filled with penalties, a lack of execution. There were some duds in opening weekend because a lot of guys aren't playing in preseason. This game feels different right here.
It is
the
different.
Atmosphere, the execution, the intensity. This game feels very different than a lot of the football we've been watching over recent days. They are back and forth. Watson, Breeze, Hopkins, here they go for more. Taken down that time. Good work by P.J. Williams to track Deshaun Watson. That is 5 sacks for the Saints now.
Here's what we got. We got number 53 here, Klein. P.J. Williams is going to come off the outside out here. They're bringing the blitz. 2 guys are coming. There comes Williams. Deshaun Watson steps up, and now P.J. Williams retraces. I was blocking, but I like the retrace by P.J. Williams, getting a little bit of Deshaun Watson.
2nd and 11. Nothing happening. A wall of gold and black led off by Cameron Jordan. So it'll be 3rd down as Bill O'Brien will dig into that play sheet.
It's the biggest down of the game so far right now. Clock is running. We're under 5. It's 3rd and long. You know Drew Brees wants the ball back to milk the clock. What does Deshaun Watson have for us now?
He has that guy, Hopkins, who has 4 3rd down catches. 3 have gone for a 1st down. 3rd and 11. Under 4.5 minutes to play, trailing by 3. Gobbled up, taken down, Trey Hendrickson. 6 sacks tonight for the Saints.
Let's look at Laremy Tunsil. First of all, Trey Hendrickson gets a good get off. Laremy Tunsil gets beat to the outside. That is a nice move by Trey Hendrickson and Laremy Tunsil. He's only been here 5 days. He's one of the better young left tackles in football. But on the biggest down of the game, the Houston Texans revert back to what they were last year, which was an offensive line giving up sacks on their young quarterback.
Hendrickson with a very big defensive play there on that 3rd and 11 as Daniel punts away. Harris calls for the fair catch and then decides instinctively, I'm going to run with it. An undrafted rookie calls for the fair catch and then runs with it.
He's a young guy, man. He wants to make a play tonight.
Fair catch, can advance by rule.
Invalid fair catch signal, number 11 of the receiving team. That penalty will be enforced 5 yards from the spot of the foul. New Orleans keeps the ball. 1st down.
Can they take care of 3 minutes and 29 seconds? Drew Brees and the Saints with the ball when we return. In the NFL, pay tribute to our armed forces through our salute to service as we honor Saints linebacker Demario Davis's father, Sergeant First Class Stephen Davis. He currently serves in the U.S. Army as a combat trainer. And there is Demario. 5 tackles tonight. His defense just stepped up big time. Trey Hendrickson had a huge sack on that 3rd down, and now the Saints 3:29 to play and a 3-point lead. Now keep in mind the Texans have all 3 timeouts, plus of course we'll have the 2-minute warning here.
You know, we wonder what the second half adjustments would be, and it's been really simple. Blitz Deshaun Watson, Demario Davis has been a big part of that, and also feature Alvin Kamara. Right now, this would typically be Mark Ingram time. Fullback in the game. We want to run some clock. Heavy run formation. Let's see what the Saints do and try to milk this clock.
Now they go I formation with Kamara behind line, and he gets to the outside, and then he is tripped up by Bradley Roby. You're right, though. This is typically the time where you would see Mark Ingram. Ingram's off in Baltimore, had a big day yesterday. The Saints were #1 in 4th quarter ball control last year. 8:47 time of possession they had in the 4th quarter last year.
Yeah, now Murray's coming in, the bigger back. You know, you wondered the percentage of touches they would have tonight between Kamara and Latavius Murray. He's in the game right now. See if they go play action.
2nd and 8. Sprint right. Brees. And he gets it complete to Thomas, who makes his way close to the 15-yard line. Joseph with the tackle. 6 yards there on the reception. So game clock 2:33, 2:32. Play clock just a tick under. It's a 3rd and 2 as we're getting close to that 2-minute warning.
Yeah, they're going to have to run another play before the 2-minute warning. Let's see how aggressive Sean Payton wants to get. It's 3rd and short. The entire playbook is open. Drew Brees is in the shotgun. Texans probably have to be in some type of man coverage here.
Brees trekking. Play clock down to 1. Brees on 3rd and 2 goes deep, and he connects with Ted Ginn. What a way to do it. 40 yards on 3rd and 2 at the 2-minute warning. And that face says a lot, doesn't it? The young superstar just watched the 40-year-old Hall of Famer say, watch how it's done. New quarterback in Denver is Joe Flacco. After his years in Baltimore, the Super Bowl success. Of course, they draft Lamar Jackson, and now a new beginning. He's happy as could be. We visited with Joe a few weeks ago. He's thrilled to get this second chance here. And right now, here is Kamara going loose, and it's another 1st down for the Saints. But that moment of 3rd and 2 with Drew Brees, Bud.
Last play, 399 X seam. It's man-to-man coverage. Ted Ginn Jr. just beats Aaron Colvin one-on-one. Drew Brees sees it. It's 3rd and short. So he knows he's going to get man-to-man coverage. Veteran quarterback, clean pocket. Just makes a play.
Look, remember I was saying earlier how there was a point here in the second half where Brees, I think it was 3rd and 19. He hadn't even thrown a ball over 16 yards.
Yes.
Yeah, the pass from 20. And that was his first attempt of 20-plus yards tonight. Throws it 34 in the air. He'll do what he needs to do.
He will.
He did it right there.
Yeah, this offense is not predicated on throwing the ball deep down the field. But if you're going to give him a ton of man-to-man coverage in a 3rd and short situation that's predictable, that's a good read. A nice throw there by Drew Brees. Murray's in the backfield. Should be hammer time here, Tess.
And that is what he offers as Murray. It's that cutback, that pad leverage. You know, there's that overheard narrative that it's Mark Ingram 2.0, but they're different players in so many ways. But Murray does have that size, goes 6'3", 230, framed against Kamara with a different body type. John Perry, you wanted to mention something?
I think we're going to take a look at what occurred at the end of the 1st half. We get almost everything correct. It's an unusual situation in the fact that a reversal is created to a running clock at 42 seconds. So we did have a 10-second run up, but we should have done it from 42 seconds rather than when the play was challenged to be reviewed, which ends up, I believe, at around 24.
So that was an opportunity that could have been more for the Saints there at the first half. Kamara trying to get to the outside. Instead, he's taken down by Cunningham. And what ended up happening there is that they settled for a long field goal attempt, which they missed.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was an impact play in the game, and it may seem minute, but it was a field position and timing. Every second count during that play.
Yeah, and inside 2 minutes, we cannot, as officials, make a timing mistake.
Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You're up here broadcasting.
It's easy up here.
Football.
Very unusual situation for those guys. Well done tonight here in New Orleans, though.
Yeah, this was a very tough assignment, as we all know what happened in the NFC title game, and it came to John Hussey and his crew. And this has been a loud environment. This has been a back and forth, highly contested game. We're glad to have our officiating analyst now on board with us, the three-time Super Bowl official John Perry, fresh off his assignment of Rams Patriots as the referee for Super Bowl 53.
So here's what we have: 24-21. The Texans are out of timeouts. How aggressive do the Saints get, or do they keep the clock running with a run play here?
3rd down and 11, and that is what they will do as Kamara is taken down at the 29 by Jaleel Adai. And now they can milk off another 34 seconds there.
It's a smart move. 3rd and 11. No need to put the football in the air.
So Pete Carmichael, Sean Payton, and Brain Trust of the Saints looking to manage things here. Sean Payton, his 14th year with the Saints. An incredible relationship to think play caller, head coach with the future Hall of Fame quarterback together. You know, we sat with Sean the other day. We said, here's Drew, 40 years old. He says, I don't see age when I looked at him. And he's wearing the Monday Night Mike tonight.
Give me a completion here. So be ready. Be ready. Be ready. Gotta hurry.
You know, it's interesting to see those moments. He's a fiery guy. Now, he's an intense competitor, passionate guy. We all know him very well. But there's that calm that comes, then the encouragement of the celebration. He gets in that zone. And now we will have the 47-yard field goal attempt from Will Lutz with 55 seconds remaining. And Lutz splits it. So that was well managed. So it'll be 50 seconds, no timeouts, trailing by 6 for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Watson's getting a little back massage there.
This is the quarterback comparison. First half, it was all Watson. He was spectacular. Had the touchdown run on the 4th down. Had the touchdown pass. And then all of a sudden, there's Drew Brees at 335 yards and 2 touchdowns, overcoming the interception in the red zone in the first half. Only 3 points in the first half. And he came up big on that 3rd and 2 when he launched the ball downfield to Ted Ginn. And here they stand with a 27-21 lead. But this guy loves these spots. It's what he lives for.
Well, it's going to be tough. He's got no timeouts, 50 seconds left, and he needs a touchdown. Those are situations you practice all during OTAs, during training camps. The coaches will script it. They'll come out and say, hey, the defense doesn't have any timeouts, etc. Watson's going to need a big chunk play to get this drive started. If I'm the Saints, I'm sitting back in zone coverage. I'll give him underneath throws. I'm not giving up the big play.
'24th game of his NFL career. Returned fully from the ACL last year. Played through difficulties, pain, as he's done also tonight. Won a division title, and then you open up the next season on the road in this atmosphere where you're going to hear it. And it's going to roar down. for these final 50 seconds. So let's see what he can offer up.
Saints are going to sit back and play a little soft zone coverage, I think. Make him throw the ball in front of you.
Goes downfield, and he connects. DeAndre Hopkins has the Texans in business. Just like that, Watson to Hopkins.
What a catch. You know, we gave him a lot of criticism early because 3 balls hit his hands and he dropped them. But what about the catch right there against Lattimore? They've been going back and forth all night long. Hopkins with a big-time play here under a minute in the 4th quarter.
Couldn't have a better start. 38-yard reception by Hopkins. No timeouts, 43 seconds remain. Here comes pressure off the edge. It's Von Bell. He gets rid of it downfield. And he did it! He did it! He did it! Kenny Stills! Welcome to the Texans! What drama in New Orleans! Deshaun Watson!
Deshaun Watson in the pocket. Pay attention to him. He sees blitz. He moves a little bit to the right. And then he throws a dime right there to Stills. Unbelievable pocket presence. And again, look who the Houston Texans attacked. Number 26, P.J. Williams. We talked about it all night long. 2 guys they wanted to attack. Number 25, Eli Apple. And number 26, P.J. Williams. And they just hit him again for 6.
It is no good. Kaimi Fairbairn just missed the extra point. A flag is down.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Defense number 22. After this is the goal, replay.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson roughing the kicker.
Wow.
Joe, kicker gets both feet down after the kick, and the defender then goes in to that plant, the foot that's on the ground.
He's already through with his follow through.
Wow.
His kick foot comes down on a missed extra point that would have kept the game tied with 37 seconds. Instead, now this. And a 1-point lead for the Texans because of that. One timeout for Breeze and the Saints, trailing by 1. This was the penalty.
He's into the kicking foot, which is on the ground. Normally, if there's any foul, it will be a running into 5-yard, not a personal foul, 15.
That seems awful ticky-tacky there, JP.
That's a tough call.
Yeah, it is, man, especially in that situation. Because that kick is missed, this game is going to overtime. That is a win-loss kick. That is a game-deciding penalty right there.
And it comes after that incredible welcome back to New Orleans for Kenny Stills. As this young man was traded from Miami to the Texans, but he was originally a 5th-round pick of the Saints. Started his career here in the Superdome. And with the gutsy, fearless Deshaun Watson, the big play to Hopkins, the touchdown pass to Stills. Look at where it leads us. Remember, Sean Payton is mic'd up.
Now listen, no penalties. No penalties. Do your job, give him a chance. No penalties.
So that is the call to order. The Broncos and Raiders has kicked off over on ESPN2.
This
We're
game
going
is
to finish things up here in what has been an incredible start to the 50th season of Monday Night Football. This game has had absolutely everything. And now, how will Breeze cap it? Here he goes to Ginn. Now the clock is running. He's calling the clock it.
Yeah, save the timeout. You want to make sure you keep that timeout in your pocket. That way you can keep the entire field open. He should clock it right now.
And he does clock it with 20 seconds remaining.
This game is not over, ladies and gentlemen. It's not over. Drew Brees needs one more chunk play.
Will Lutz is hoping to get his chance. It's 2 of 3 tonight. Got a career long of 57. Remember, he had the big opportunity for the long one before half that he missed from 56. And he is a capable kicker if Breeze can put him in position. Here we go. Breeze to the outside. Midfield here. Remember, they have the one timeout. As he gets it for 11 yards here to Michael Thomas. Clock is coming down, and he clocks it again, leaving 6 seconds.
I understand what he's trying to do, but he wasted too much time. He's got time right now with one timeout left for a quick play. It's got to be quick. It needs like a 10-yard out or a 10-yard seam, something across the middle, and tell the receiver, as soon as you catch it, get down and call timeout. But it's got to be quick. You can't have your receiver running around and have the clock run out.
Still about 7 yards away from what was the max in warm-up for Will Lutz, as his last attempt in warm-up that we were down there on the field to see was from 60. 6 seconds, one timeout.
The Texans are playing loose coverage. I don't agree with this. This is too easy to get a quick completion. He's checking it. Breeze sees it.
Here we go. Clock counting down. Drives it over the middle. They do have the timeout, and he gets it to the 40-10 game. Surgical by Breeze. Absolutely surgical.
It was just too easy. The Houston Texans were almost in a prevent defense. Look how far the safeties are back. They're 25 yards back. They only need 7 yards. Fall down, call the timeout. Drew Brees sees it. Veteran quarterback. And now he puts his team in a position to kick a game-winning field goal.
And based on that hold from Morstead, it would be from 58. His career long is 57. Will Lutz, can he put the cape on his back and become a hero here for these fans? 58-yard attempt for the win! Got it! Will Lutz, by way of Breeze's positioning and drive. The young man who signed a big extension, got engaged this offseason, and opens up the year with what'll be a party night in New Orleans. That guy did everything he could. Magical night from Watson. That is wound up by Breeze and Lutz. Incredible.
Just a phenomenal job by Drew Brees, working the clock. And the fact that he saved that timeout test. Remember what happened at the end of the first half. They saved the timeout, and what did they get? A field goal attempt. He missed that one. He didn't miss this one. Saving the timeout was the key. Great execution by Breeze.
Lisa.
Thank you, Tess. Will, congratulations, but what were you thinking in those final seconds as Drew was trying to inch you closer?
Look, when he's our quarterback, I knew we were going to get a chance. Oh, my God. Like, you got Drew Brees at the helm. I tell Coach I'll give anything a chance. And that's what it's about, man. I missed the first kick. No one says a word to me. Man, it's crazy. It's an amazing feeling.
What were you thinking when the ball left your foot?
Oh, I knew it was in. I'm confident in my operation. I'm confident in what I do. And all I wanted was redemption after that miss to go into half. And that's what it's about.
Thank you. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tex.
All he wanted was redemption after the miss. All this city wants is redemption after the end of last year. They say they want to climb the mountain, get back in position. Week after week after week, they're set to earn it. Excellent way to start the Monday Night Football doubleheader. A career-long 58-yarder, a game winner from Lutz on an incredible night between Breeze and Watson. Now let's get you to Steve Levy and the guys for Broncos Raiders. So long from New Orleans, everybody.